Against Great Britain, your commentary team, Mike Stevenson and Eddie Hemmings.
Welcome back to cloudy Palmerston North, and that's the scene here at the showground as we await the appearance of the two sides for this second half. And as we have got so many messages from all the players here in New Zealand for all the folks listening back home, let's, Mike, run through a few of them now. We were surrounded by the second string, if they'll pardon us for saying that, before the match. And Stevie Hampson wants to send love to Lisa and his son Kelvin.
Well, and also Carl Fairbank, what a great place in New Zealand, of course famous for its farming, and Carl sends and says good luck to all back at the farm there in Yorkshire.
And Kelvin Skerritt has been taken off apparently at the start of this second half, and Carl Harrison has come on. Michael Jackson wants to say hello to all the family, especially Alison and his nephew Joseph. And David Myers says love to Sue and his dog Beasley as the Kiwis take the field for the second half here. Just checking through 1 to 13 as you were as far as Gary Freeman and the Kiwis are concerned. Martin Dermott, another of the, well, not second string, he's played in all the tests, didn't he, against the Aussies. Been displaced today by Lee Jackson, who's had a fine first half, and Martin says hello to all his family. Steve McNamara, as the British boys come onto the field, says love to Michaela.
And let's not forget Dr. David Graham, who sends his love to Sarah and baby Laura. They'll all be home soon.
Yes, Monday next week the planes will leave and everyone on this tour will be on their way back. So this second half then about to get underway. There's Andy Platt and Matthew Ridge will get us started again once Bill Harrigan, the match referee, is satisfied. Referee Harrigan blows the whistle. Matthew Ridge kicks off the start of this second half. Lee Crooks has been our man on the sidelines throughout the match. He's also been our spy inside the British dressing room. And Lee, what has Malcolm really been telling the boys?
Well, Malcolm's said that although he's quietly confident about the defence, he's very concerned about the way we're dropping off one-on-one tackles and letting the Kiwis slip the ball. He'd also like to see our play the balls quicken up a bit and see if we can just slow their play the balls down.
That was the first touch from Carl Harrison, and not a very successful touch either, just looking at the hands, maybe a bit of grease on them from the dressing room duties he might have had to perform. But Harrison on for Skerritt in this second half, and I'm afraid not an auspicious start for the big Halifax man.
Johnny!
And this match from Palmerston North, Great Britain ahead by 8 points to 6. We're in the opening minute of this second half. Dwayne Mann going into dummy half. Freeman, the diagonal run. Ridge coming into the play. Connolly. And also Dennis Betts bringing him down. Betts again on Blackmore. Tackled by the Wigan man on the Castleford man. Now Freeman. And now Clark over the top from Dean Clark. Oh, well swept up by Stedman. Saw that all the way, the British fullback. Picked it up like picking apples from a tree.
Wonderful positioning there by Stedman.
Clark. That's good tackling though by Tony Iro. Jackson from dummy half, making ground. Maguire picking up the pass. Couldn't get away from Gary Freeman.
Hello, Martin.
Now then, we have Harrison for the second time. Back to Stedman. Kick downfield on that, the last tackle. Ridge on the first bounce. Taken by Connolly. Blackmore taken by Clark. This is Brent Todd. Through Andy Platt. New Zealand come down the blind side again with Tony Kemp. Freeman just manages to hold on. Stewart.
and there was a collision there. Looks like Eastwood collided.
Great take, Steadman, under pressure from Brendan Tutor, but Steadman kept his eye on the ball all the way down from the sky and picked it up.
What a take. Brendan Tutor was actually tackling before the ball even reached him. That could have been a penalty and should have been a penalty.
Tutor suddenly looks fired up, doesn't he, for the start of this second half. Now Edwards thought better of the pass, took it on his own. Misses out Platt, does Jackson and finds Harrison.
Well, New Zealand fully aware that as the game goes on, the British boys must be a lot fitter. They've been together on this tour for quite some time. That is definitely in their advantage, so it's vital that New Zealand get early points in this second half.
Powell and Clark closing Ridge down. Incidentally, Carl Harrison now making his 8th Test appearance. This is the 7th game since he arrived. Powell tackling Sean Hoppy. Stewart, the prop forward. Hit him was the cry from Gary Schofield as Quentin Pongia got to that ball. Here's Freeman. Freeman with a kick downfield, forcing Steadman to retreat. But again, the shallow in-goal area means the ball runs dead. John Keir, John Devereux alongside him. John Keir has taken over from Phil Larder as assistant coach on this tour now that Larder's got home to prepare for the domestic season with Widnes. Devereux sitting on the bench, I'm sure he's anxious for a chance too, as Carl Harrison has received his chance in this second half. Betts. Great Britain want to step up the pace at the play of the ball. You heard what Lee Crook said. Connolly dances away from Kemp. Oh, it's a great run from Connolly. Support from the fire. Support for a fire from Jackson. Jackson almost through. Freeman just ankle tapped him. Jackson still going. Schofield's there in support. Schofield out the back door to a fire. Good hands from Great Britain this. Phil Clark. Clark, great try. Magnificent try for Great Britain. Brilliant stuff from the tourists. Excellent play. Quick hands. Great support. The movement continued. And Clark touchdown. His 3rd try of the tour. Magnificent.
Schofield get the ball away. Oh, fingertip control there by O'Fire. Good support play by Clark. The Wigan loose forward. Look at the determination. Nothing was going to stop him there. But that all came about by a wonderful run by the hooker. There you see Clark finishing off this try. He's got plenty of speed, grit and determination. Look at Connolly making that initial break. O'Fire takes it through. Look at the step through. Now you can see the Kiwi defence. Well, that may be 50-50. Benefit of a doubt went our way. But Jackson was not held down. Kemp came off him. It was good refereeing to keep the ball alive and good stepping by the Hull hooker. Good support play there. There you can see Hoppy has had to come in. There's no one at home. Oh, fingertip control of fire. The ball bobs up. Lady luck a little bit going our way, but who cares? When you support the man like that, that's a great try.
Philip Clark, a try against Australia in the 2nd Test, a try against New Zealand in the 1st Test here. Viewed as the find of the tour. Absolutely breathtaking stuff from the British Lions. So Eastwood with this difficult conversion attempt, tight to the touchline, 2 from 3. Hit it cleanly enough. And excellently. Wow, what a kick that was from Paul Eastwood. Malcolm Reilly, his coach, and Maurice Lindsay looking on appreciatively. That was a great kick from the touchline by Paul Eastwood, capitalising on that 4-pointer from Phil Clark and Lee Crooks. We've had 7.5 minutes of this second half, and Great Britain really turned on the style for us there.
Well, yeah, that's just the start we wanted, Eddie. A tremendous run by Lee Jackson there, but I mean, full credit must go to Martin O'Fire. At the beginning of that run was on the floor and tackled, and who got back up and was able to support Gary Schofield. and pass the ball on to Phil Jackson to score, Phil Clark to score the try. So, as I say, just to start we want, and hopefully we can go forward from this.
New Zealand 6, Great Britain 14. You might have noticed the St Helens player Tia Rapati warming up on the bench there as Lee was talking to us. So perhaps Howard Tamati about to make a change. But here's Clark again. Great run again from the Wigan youngster. Such a potential Phil Clark, only 21. Now Darryl Powell. Powell is 19th cap. And it's his 18th consecutive Test appearance for Darryl Powell. Quite a record. Ridge through the tackle of Connolly, but stopped by Eastwood.
So important now that the British boys get together in their defence, close them in, make the Kiwis play down the middle.
Freeman always will be the danger man, but that's great tackling from Betts. Tutor started this second half like a man possessed, but has gone a little quiet in the past 5 minutes. That's good support play this time from Stewart. Freeman, the kick downfield, aiming it towards the corner flag. Eastwood collects it. Couldn't get away from Iro. Iro wrestles him to the floor, body slams him down on the 22. McGinty. Harrison. Quite a tour, hasn't he, Carl Harrison, since he came out here as a replacement in Australia. First time he's faced New Zealand, though, this. That's a good kick ahead. Great kick.
Good thinking there by Gary Schofield. He didn't go for distance. He realised that Ridge was well back. He split the defence half through, wanted to take the touch finder. The defence will move up quickly now, trying to force New Zealand into making that error.
New Zealand with the possession from the scrum. And it's Hoppy. Schofield all round him, round the ankles. Dwayne Mann, Edwards trying to close him down. New Zealand, though, giving the ball the air a bit. And keeping it alive as often as they can. That's Tutor.
They've been very impressive if the Kiwis are keeping this ball alive, thankfully for Britain. Our struggling defence, we've got back. Maybe a bit panicky at times, but it certainly held out.
Freeman and Clark. He helps it on to Kemp. Kemp to Iro. And Iro finds his Manly teammate, Ridge. Stewart well tackled by Lee Jackson. McGinty coming in to finish him off. Wayne Mann, the acting halfback. Freeman with the midfield bomb. Here's a tester for Steadman. Oh, it didn't look like he was going to ever get to that. Blackmore did. He palmed it back. Although the New Zealanders in the crowd shout for offside, it never was against Andy Platt. Betts. Now look at that. Stewart's lying all over Dennis Betts, and Harrigan, quite rightly, pinning him for offside, for laying on at the tackle.
Well, it took a while then for the marbles to click into gear in Bill Harrigan's head, didn't it?
Number 16, Tia Rapati, comes on, and Dean Clark goes off, replaced. Not a happy match for Dean Clark. So much wanted to re-establish his authority over Gary Schofield. He's failed to do that, though.
They're at a stage now, Eddie, where New Zealand have to start spinning the ball out wide, taking even more risks. They play this catch-up football. They have to get back into this game very quickly. They realise that.
Great Britain on the attack again on the 22. Freeman manages to haul Steadman down. Stewart came in, and there's another penalty. Well, absolutely right. He penalised them just a few seconds ago for exactly the same offence, and he's going to have a word now. The referee. There's Freeman, the captain. Can't believe the decision.
Well, Freeman is allowed to talk to the referee. All the other players are not, including Brent Todd, which Harrigan had a little word to. I'm in charge, he says.
So a great opportunity for Paul Eastwood to stretch the advantage still further. New Zealand 6, Great Britain 14. More changes possibly by the New Zealanders. 17, Mark Woods, by the looks of things, preparing to come on. The fourth of the home-based players in this squad. It looks like he's about to make an impact on it now. Eastwood. The referee holds up the clock because Eastwood is taking a bit more time this time, repairing the boots, making sure everything's A-OK. 6 points to New Zealand, 14 to Great Britain. The gap would be 10 points if he slots this one over. Certainly since he came into the side in Melbourne for that second test, Eastwood has been in superb kicking form. One from the touchline to convert that Philip Clarke try. As good as the try itself. So Britain looking for a 10-point lead here, courtesy of the boot of Paul Eastwood. Has to take some stick as he shapes to take it. But he's just pulled it this time. Ironic cheers from the crowd. So 14 minutes of this second half gone. New Zealand 6, Great Britain 14. Mark Woods is coming on the field any moment now, but the Kiwis haven't made the change. But Mike, 8 points the advantage, time ticking away for the New Zealanders.
It's a problem for the Kiwis, they realise it. And that's why they've made the change. They're hoping that Tia Rapati and maybe Mark Woods could just offer that little bit of input, a little bit of skill.
What a great tour Gary Connolly's had as well. 12th match of the tour so far here today. Forced his way into the test, replacing Paul Newlove. It's been a good tour. It's been a heartening and encouraging tour for British Rugby League. And Edwards intend to just dab that ball forward. Push the Kiwis back to their own quarter line. Number 17 is on, that's Mark Woods. He gets his place, and Stewart, the prop forward, Brent Stewart, trying his debut last week against Papua New Guinea. No such luck today against this British team. He comes off. Now Blackmore, through the tackle of Connolly and through the tackle of Schofield. Eventually Edwards and Eastwood close him down. That ball was never surely played properly. Must have been the decision of Harrigan that it simply came out of the arms and went backwards. Freeman. Woods, his first touch, that was. And that's a little knock-on from Tuta.
That really was bad play there by Todd. He ran half-hearted there. It was an enormous problem by Todd there. That's what we classify as a hospital pass. Tuta didn't want it, resulting knock-on.
Dean Clark having a word on the touchline with our colleagues from TVNZ. We will continue here on Sky Sports with the action. The action that has Great Britain ahead by 14 points to 6 after 16 and a half minutes of this second half. The highlight of the half, that great try from Phil Clarke. This is McGinty. Edwards now, and Clarke. Almost through the gap that was left by Pongia, but not so. Powell. The New Zealanders here appealing for an obstruction offence, but Harrigan unimpressed. This is the last tackle. Midfield bomb comes in from Stedman. But fires up there to cause a bit of problems for Ridge. So he took it perfectly. That'll have done his confidence no harm at all.
Oh, very cool there, Matthew Ridge, the Manly fullback. He was under a lot of pressure there. Martin Offiah really put him under that pressure.
And strongly from dummy half, but Platt, Harrison, McGinty have him. Woods. The two 17s collide, Harrison and Woods. Todd.
Well, surely it's time now that the New Zealanders realise not to try to break down that middle, but to try to get the ball out wide. They've got the class out there.
And that ball out on the full from Freeman. So play will be brought back. It was on the last tackle, so the handover to Great Britain. That's where they are.
Well, the crowd didn't like it, but it appeared to me to touch the line, and line is out.
Say the crowd here today, Mike, emphasising the real grip that rugby league is getting in this part of the world. It's a really good attendance at the Palmerston North Showgrounds, and the game is getting ever popular down here, isn't it?
My word, and of course the introduction of an Auckland side into the Australian competition in '95, it all augurs well for the greatest game of all.
And this first test augurs well for the British team. They're ahead by 14 points to 6, looking to just get a bit more authority into their play. Schofield there, I think, was trying to keep that ball alive and flick it through his legs. It didn't quite come off.
I realised he was caught there trying to keep that ball alive, maybe hoping that the Aussie referee Bill Harrigan may give a penalty. Didn't work.
Wasn't fooled that time. This is Woods now. Man the dummy half. New Zealand coming on the blind side with Todd. Blackmore set off out of the traps then, but the ball wasn't released because Great Britain's swarming defence simply didn't allow Todd to get the ball free. Rapati with the kick ahead. Andy Platt dropping on it for Great Britain.
That was better defence. You saw clearly there that the Great Britain three-quarters had moved up so quick that they were allowed no option, the Kiwis, but to just try to get that kick in. Nothing was open on the outside.
Brett Stewart sweating after his labours today. Replaced, though, by Mark Woods.
Quite obviously, Eddie, that Malcolm really has told the players just to go through nothing silly. Possession is vital. Keep that percentage as high as possible.
Edwards now. Again, the high kick. A tester for Ridge. A fire onto him closely. A fire has him. And a fire pushes him back 2 or 3 metres before Ridge hits the deck. Here's Hoppy. That's better play from Hoppy, but that's poor play from Iro. Midway through this second half, Great Britain ahead 14-6. Iro saying to everyone, calm it down.
Well, either that or I was saying to the referee that Powell had knocked on. Let's see what he gives. Is it a Kiwi feed? No. It's deemed that it was Iro that lost the ball.
Here we are, sir.
So Britain's feed, and Britain have possession with Schofield. Now with Powell.
This is where we've got to use the forwards, drive in and put on one of the moves.
Edwards looking for Steadman, finds him too. Steadman unhappy, and I don't blame him. I've been watching Freeman as he's gone in for the tackle a few times, using the old forearm to give a bit of a facial. That's what they call it down here.
And there's plenty of niggling going on, a lot of talk.
So Great Britain now 10 metres short of that Kiwi line with Schofield. Can he open the defence? Nearly, so closely. A little dummy, just as he did 2 years ago in 1990. This time, though, Tira Party was equal to it.
Surely the bomb's coming.
Steadman. Oh, they've got 6 more. They would have had 6 more had Billy McGinty been able to hold on to that. It was on the last tackle, so it's the turnover. Rapati. Big St Helens centre. Todd. Entering the phase now where the British fitness really should come into its own as Woods released the ball. Edwards swooped on it. He fed Schofield. He's given it to Connolly. Connolly, oh, this really is a man they cannot bring down, Connolly. And again, Freeman going in with a facial there on Connolly.
Well, he had 2 goals, didn't he? The referee didn't do anything about it. There's a lot of cheap shots coming out now.
And Clark felt the full weight of that one from Tutor. This is Edwards, now Schofield again. Long pass to Betts. Betts has got Powell in support. Can they get the ball out to a fire? No, they can't. A fire from dummy half. Betts, shape to kick ahead. And had to take the tackle from 4 of them. Edwards, Schofield, Clark. O'Fire's drifted over to this side of the field. O'Fire's almost through. O'Fire just hung back by the collar. It's the last tackle. O'Fire's run has taken Britain to within 3 metres of that line. Clark making a bit of a hash of picking it up from the play of the ball. on the last tackle. Freeman won't let him get to his feet. Well, Freeman, he's a niggly little player, isn't he? And if we're not careful, Great Britain could just lose their discipline and, well, anything could happen.
Well, let's hope not, because that's what the Kiwis want.
Amazing though, Mike, he was in the commentary box with us, wasn't he, Gary Freeman, in Melbourne, or next door to us, working for another company. And when Britain were ahead 22-0 at half-time, he was as delighted as any Pom inside that stadium.
Well, they don't like the Aussies more than we do, but the situation being here, it's all different. Let's hope that our boys don't get sucked into it. Let's just drub it in the best way possible and put more points on that scoreboard.
Freeman kicks downfield. Steadman is underneath it. Went backwards. A solid game again at full-back, though, Steadman.
They've been safe in defence, and he's certainly injected himself at times into the attack.
He's the First Division Player of the Year, Graham Steadman. You'd expect nothing less.
And I think we've got to get to that point where Malcolm really should start to be looking for some fresh legs, just to break down the morale, the confidence of this Kiwi side, who realise that time is against them.
We might be seeing the introduction of someone shortly, because Gary Connolly there being helped off by David Fever and David Graham. I wonder, Lee Crooks, who's watching on sideline, any movement on that British bench?
Not at the moment. I can't see anybody getting warmed up. Obviously, I think that Gary Connolly seems to be injured, so I would imagine that Joe Lydon would come on for Gary. But that still leaves Paul Young, so I would imagine that sometime in the next 5 or 6 minutes that Paul would probably get a run for one of the second rowers.
Well, it looks like Malcolm really must be listening to you, Lee, because there's Joe Lydon coming on for Gary Connolly. Disconsolately has to leave the field, but he's had an excellent test match here in New Zealand. So Connolly off, Lydon on. Lydon substitute in all 5 tests so far. Try in Sydney as Rapati is simply hauled down. And wouldn't it be nice for a British point of view if Lydon could repeat that try in Sydney here today and just take the pressure off a little bit. 14-6, British lead. Kiwis on the roll though.
Certainly are. The game is not over, especially when they're keeping the ball alive like this. Been impressed with this second rower, Gavin Hill. He's a strong boy.
Freeman, reverse pass, brings Rapati into it again.
We can't afford to relax here. The defence has to be going up in one line.
Freeman almost through. Sean Edwards read it perfectly. With a help from Lee Jackson. Edwards took a bang in the ribs then. Ridge hoists a little kick, chases after it himself. Balls come free. It can't be cleared. And by the looks of things, the Kiwis have claimed a try through Richie Blackmore. Britain made a total hash of that behind their own try line. And Blackmore was there to pick up the pieces, drop on the ball. A hat-trick against PNG last week. Ridge, though, with the little kick ahead, he's the man who created it. And just as we feared, the Kiwis haven't laid down and died.
No, they've come back with a venom, haven't they? And Ridge, a beautiful kick here. They both go together. Now, was that a knock-on? The referee said no, it was playing. Blackmore was there. They both shifted past it. It's a very small in-goal area. Very narrow indeed. Now, did Ridge knock on? The referee said no. It was hard to define there. Quite a simple try there for Richard Blackmore, the Castleford winger to come centre. Now this came about really by some 2 great drives by the forwards from New Zealand. Really, Great Britain shouldn't have allowed them to get into this position. No, and I think on the slow motion there you saw that it did bounce off the shoulder of Graham Steadman. The Australian referee, Bill Harrigan, correct in his decision. And the Kiwis are back in this game.
They certainly will be after this if Ridge manages to slot it over. The cheers will tell you, the flags go up. New Zealand 12, Great Britain 14. It was 11-10 here in Palmerston North 2 years ago. We're in for a nail-biting finish, Lee Crooks.
Yes, well, full credit to Matthew Ridge there. I mean, he's put the ball up in the air and followed through and put a lot of pressure on Graham Steadman. which created the fumble so Richard Blackmore could score. And I think Graham would be very annoyed. We've had 3 Great Britain players around him and not one of them's offered any cover at all towards him, which is a big disappointment really, because that's something that we do tend to work on in training.
That's a good point, Lee. Yes, no one was there to offer the fullback any support. It bounced off his shoulder. Paul Eastwood missed with his wild kick to hack it into the crowd. And, well, the bits were simply picked up by Richard Blackmore, weren't they? So 2 points the difference, 12-14. Mike Kuiti, as you probably saw, is on, the Rochdale Hornets captain.
But before that, Eddie, the big mistake was the fact that we did allow those big forwards to get a roll on. We had the Kiwis camped in their own half, 2 strong runs, and they're in a position to apply the bomb there, and it's come off.
They're on the run again with Matthew Woods. Edwards managed to bring him to the ground. Here's Freeman. That bounced off a British player. There's a real race on here and a fire. Well, I think he was content to let it go, but Hoppy was right round the back of him. It bounced off a British player, and so it will be Kiwi's head and feet. The skating on thin ice, Mike.
My word, and it's getting to a point now where they have to draw on their strengths. Keep calm, keep that defence tight, not lose their control.
Well, they've won the scrums hands down to the Kiwis. It's now 8-3. Here's Kemp. Freeman trying to open something. Ridge again. Almost through Ridge. Powell. Clark. They managed to bring him down. And, well, what's happened there? Penalty to New Zealand. Not allowing Ridge to get to his feet. I think Great Britain thought they had the ball back at the play-the-ball situation. The referee Harrigan ruled that they wouldn't allow Ridge to get to his feet, and it's a penalty, and it's right in front.
Well, a stray kick there. Joe Lydon putting the right boot in, but he's claiming that the ball had hit the ground. He's every right to strike for it.
And so too it had.
Ridge was trying to get up to play the ball, but placed the ball in the ground. The rules state that you can strike for it. And I'm afraid Matthew Ridge will probably think twice about doing that again.
10 minutes to go. Ridge obviously has some problems. Darrell Halligan is about to come on. He can kick a goal or two as well. But Ridge still lying on the floor at the scene of the incident.
Now this is interesting. Will the referee allow a substitution after the penalty is given to go and take the kick?
Well, here's the incident again. The ball's on the floor, definitely. But
and he has every right, Eddie. Lydon had every right there to strike for it. Maybe they could have penalised the Great Britain side for not moving away to play the ball.
Or Philip Clark coming in over the side, perhaps. But Ridge, you know, he's in all sorts of trouble. And he's going off the field. Halligan is the man to replace him. But it's not going to be Halligan who's going to take the kick, it's Gavin Hill.
Well, Harrigan certainly not confused by that issue. No substitute can come on after a penalty is given and take a penalty shot. That was introduced many years ago. And thankfully, the Australian Bill Harrigan is equal to the task and knows his rules very well indeed.
Gavin Hill then, with this important penalty that will bring us back all level at 14 points all if it goes over. And on my watch, 31 minutes, nearly 32 minutes of this second half gone. But the referee has held the clock up, and I notice on the electronic scoreboard here at Palmerston North, 9.5 minutes left for play. This is a very important kick. Only a second cap for Gavin Hill, a try on his debut last week in the destruction of PNG. And a goal here at Palmerston North, which levels the scores and gets the 10,000 Kiwi fans to their feet. Well, Britain now have got a real battle on their hands to win a test match. Not long ago, they looked to have in their pocket.
A real test of their character here. Turn the kettle off. This is going to be nail-biting stuff.
So the Kiwis with the tails up. Halligan just on. Now Britain penalised for doing exactly that not long ago. It was Lydon and Clark then. It's Lydon and Clark now. Mann would run from Woods.
It really is going to go down to the wire here. It's all a matter of keeping your composure. No silly mistake, no silly penalties.
Listen to the Kiwi supporters chanting Kiwis round this ground. It was a Gary Schofield drop goal that won this equivalent test match in 1990. It was so close then, it's so close now. Freeman. Back to Halligan, playing full back from Matthew Ridge. His kick downfield only finds a fire. It doesn't bounce kindly. Now, if ever a time was needed for a Martin Offiah special, this is it, but not that sort of stuff. Oh, Martin Offiah drops it. He gets away with it too. The referee doesn't pin him for a knock-on.
Harrigan claimed the ball went backwards. The crowd went berserk.
I'm sure Malcolm really did as well.
Who'd be a coaching under this pressure?
14 points all. 7.5 minutes on the scoreboard to go. That's the official time. Britain must get up the other end of the field, must get in position for a drop goal at least. But the Kiwis now, they know they're in with a chance of revenge for that 1990 series defeat. Stedman's kick downfield. Halligan picks it up for the Kiwis. Great Britain have got to close him down. Powell does exactly that.
That were good tactics there by Graham Stedman, kicking early in the piece.
Sean Hoppy.
Sorry, Eddie, they've got to play this game down in the New Zealand quarter to get any chance of position for that field goal.
Kuiti. Now Great Britain mustn't try and steal the ball in the tackle. They haven't. Thought there was going to be a stray arm coming in then, but the Kiwis are making ground. Hill, who kicked that important penalty to level the scores up at 14 all. Freeman into the British half of the field. Rapati downfield again. The bounce has been deceptive. Who has it? It's 6 to go. Great Britain held on.
That was awful play.
The Kiwis getting roared on by the crowd, who is, I must tell you, encroaching up towards the sidelines. Look at them, they've come off the terraces. They're all over the field up the other end. Quite remarkable scenes here as the Kiwis charge forward again. Tutor the man.
The police are trying to control the crowd. We're trying to control this attack from the Kiwis.
Mann, drop goal attempt from Halligan. He's kicked it. Oh, Great Britain are down by 14 points to 15. We have 5 minutes to go on my watch, just over that on the scoreboard.
There's fans on the ground. They've gone berserk. The ground announcer trying to get them off. Pandemonium here at North Palmerston. Wonderful kick here by the substitute Halligan. He's done that so often for the North Sydney club back in Sydney. What a vital one-pointer.
So Daryl Halligan, substitute for the injured Matthew Ridge, injured in the incident that led to the New Zealand penalty that dragged them level. Look at the supporters lining the touchline here. It wouldn't be allowed in England. It's being allowed in Palmerston North, and the Kiwi supporters loving this, and Great Britain have got to get the ball back. 4 3/4 minutes to go, trailing now by 15 points to 14, but the Kiwis have got the bit between their teeth. It's been a great test match.
Oh, it's been tough. Great Britain had full control until these last 15 minutes. They never throw the towel into the Kiwis, and they're showing it today.
Mann and Freeman. Oh, he was hit late by Lydon. He didn't like that, didn't Freeman? But Clark has got the ball for Great Britain. Now it's with Stedman. The ball has got to get up the other end of the field. 4 minutes to go. New Zealand 15, Great Britain 14. Oh, and Great Britain are throwing caution to the wind in their own quarter. Carl Harrison hanged on to that somehow under all that pressure.
They have to, Eddie. Otherwise, this test is gone.
But
They've got to go. They've got to give it a long ball, a long kick to Offiah.
the supporters all round the perimeter of this pitch. The atmosphere obviously getting to the players now. Desperate measures by Great Britain. 10 metres from their own line. Last tackle. Edwards will hammer the ball downfield. Halligan is right underneath it. Coming up to 3 minutes to go. The Kiwis have 6 more tackles here. It's pandemonium. Look at the people on the touchline. I've never seen anything like this before.
They've got to take the gamble now. It's got to be an interception time. Schofield, the king of the intercept for so many years. Can he produce one?
Less than 3 minutes to go. Woods in possession for the Kiwis. Great Britain on the back foot, trailing 15-14. Another attempted drop goal that was from Dwayne Mann. Ball though went through the posts and underneath the crossbar, so Great Britain must get this match restarted quickly. They have, and Paul Hume is on in 15 for Great Britain. Powell. Well, a match they looked midway through this second half to have well and truly safe and sound, now is in danger, in great danger of slipping away from them. 11-10 in 1990 to Great Britain. 15-14 2 years later to the Kiwis. Remarkable.
It's not over yet. They've got to throw the caution to the wind.
2 minutes to go. Great Britain down by 1 point. A long raking pass from Edwards finds Powell, but Powell can go nowhere. Iro is round him. The tackle completed. And Britain being pushed back towards their own line. They need it up the other end. Betts.
Well, there you saw the tackling. That is great tackling. They're really out on the boil. And they've lost the ball. It has to be a penalty. Edwards quick to get the game underway. Vital seconds.
1 minute and 20 seconds on the scoreboard to go. Britain up towards the halfway line for the first time for a while. Look at those supporters on the line.
New Zealand dropping players back. Freeman in the sweeping position. Halligan is not too deep. He knows the danger of a fire speed. That's what Great Britain will be looking for.
Here comes McGinty as the clock ticks down to 57 seconds. Britain are trailing by the 1 point. Something special's needed now from Clark. Hume the dummy half. Schofield, can he conjure something up? The kick ahead, he was surely impeded. Referee says no, play on. I think that's the test match. I think the Kiwis have got it. We're in the last half minute.
Well, he took the gamble, did Schofield. You saw him deliberately throw himself into the Kiwi defence. Halligan waved it away. Harrigan did have nothing to do with it. I think that may be the last throw of the dice. Should we have gone the other tackle and gone for the 1 pointer and the draw? That will going to be the burning question in the British camp.
10 seconds to go. Kuwaiti in control of the ball. The supporters in control of the clock. Just listen to them. They're on the pitch. It's all over. The Kiwis have won a memorable test match. They've snatched a victory from the jaws of defeat. And Great Britain, in the last 10 minutes, Mike, threw it away.
No doubt about it. They relaxed. They allowed that defence. The big forwards of the Kiwis rampaged through. It will all go back to that time when the Kiwis were camped in their own quarter. 2 strong runs by the forwards, especially by Gavin Hill and Brent Todd.
The Origin squads go through their final pre-match drills. The external calm